Tarshan here, founder of BlenderBabes.com, your #1 resource for smoothies, blending, and healthy living. I've been getting a ton of questions about the new Vitamix Explorian Series. A lot of people want to compare the E310 versus E320, and I've also been getting a lot of questions about the E320 versus 5300 because as you can see, they look very similar. So in this video, we're going to demystify these three blenders and talk about all the similarities and differences so that you can better decide which one is best for you and your family and your budget. So we're going to start with the E310 here. And I do really like this blender, not only for the price, it's one of the most cost-effective blenders by Vitamix. Brand new, this blender is $349, which is a very good price. You guys can check out their website. A lot of Vitamix blenders go up to $650, even I think over $700 for their top of the line Vitamix 780. This is the E320 and brand new, this is $449. You can only find it at a few retail outlets as well. And then here, the Vitamix 5300, this one is $359, certified reconditioned. You can find it brand new at a few retail outlets for $459, but typically most people buy it certified reconditioned because of the savings. Now, this one comes with a 5-year warranty, the E310. The E320 comes with a 7-year warranty, and the 5300 comes with a 5-year warranty, just like all of their certified reconditioned models come with a 5-year warranty. These are so brand new, they don't have them in certified recondition at the making of this video. This has a 2 peak horsepower motor, which is kind of the standard motor size of a lot of the Legacy Series, C Series Vitamix blenders. And the E310 and 5300 both have a 2.2 peak horsepower motor. Now, when it comes to performance and abilities, just keep in mind all of these blenders can do all the things, right? They can make green juices and green smoothies that are super silky smooth. They can make nut butters, baby food, batters, and bread doughs. Whether it has 2.2 peak horsepower motors or 2 horsepower motors, I haven't noticed, at least in my testing, much of a difference in the performance abilities, if any at all. So one of the main differences that is very obvious here is the container size that it comes with. So the Vitamix E310 comes with a 48-ounce container, and the E320 versus 5300 here have the 64-ounce low-profile container. So all of these blenders typically fit under most kitchen cabinets, which are usually about 18 inches from your countertop to the bottom of your cabinet. So that's a very desirable feature that Vitamix has with these kind of newer models, is that it fits under kitchen cabinets. The difference when it comes to these jars, however, is how much it can make. So of course, obviously the capacity is a little bit different, but what you'll notice here when it comes to blending, this has a 3-inch base. So what that means is that you can make smaller servings, single servings. You can typically make a total batch size of 2 to 3 servings at least. But being able to make smaller servings, like your salad dressings or your baby food, or a little bit of banana nice cream, you don't need to buy a separate jar to be able to do that. Or when it comes to the 64-ounce low-profile containers, they have a 4-inch wide base. So it needs at least 2 cups of ingredients to blend properly. Now, when that comes into play is when you're making single servings or want to make a small serving of something. It's not really possible with these containers. So we do have another Vitamix container video as well as a blend off where we compare a 64-ounce low profile container against a smaller 32-ounce, which is smaller than this one even, making a strawberry banana and ice cream, so that you really can see how much more ingredients and produce that you need to be able to blend properly. And you can check that out in another video. It's really, really important to note that if you do get these containers, it's great if you have a larger family because it can make more. But if you want to make the single serve, or smaller portions, you're gonna probably want to get a smaller jar. So that's gonna add to the total cost of your blenders. Another thing I want to point out is the jar compatibility. You can purchase the large 64-ounce tall standard jar if you wanted to make larger portions and larger batch sizes, and it will fit on the container and they work properly. It can also fit either the 32-ounce wet jar or 32-ounce dry jar, which is the dry jar that I have here. Again, we have another video that explains the containers, whether or not you need the Vitamix dry jar, things like that. So check out that video if that interests you. There's also a Vitamix personal adapter jar that does also fit and is interchangeable on this model. Now when it comes to these two blenders, the E320 and 5300, it is not recommended to fit the tall 64-ounce jars on here. Now it fits, and I have actually tested it and it blended fine, but because of the 2.2 peak horsepower motor, Vitamix recommends not to use these jars. It's just a little bit too large of a motor for this type of jar. And the same thing goes for the Vitamix E310. You are not going to buy a low-profile compact jar, 64-ounce jar for this blender. It fits, but they don't recommend it for the size of the motor and this jar to blend properly. The E320 and 5300, you can also purchase the 48-ounce jar. You can use the 32-ounce wet jar or dry jar, and also the personal blending adapter jar. So those are the compatibility in terms of jars on these blenders. So another difference is the noise. And I think this is actually really important. I get a lot of question about, how loud these blenders are. What I found, which I think was very interesting, on high, this was 104.3 decibels, where the E320 was 104.5 decibels, and the 5300 was 102.8 decibels. So this was actually the lowest one when we were blending on high on speed 10. Now on your lowest setting, blending on speed 1, the E310 was 83.8 decibels, so it was the quieter one. This one was 91.9 and this one was 91.6. So the Vitamix E320 was the loudest of the three. So just something to keep in mind, especially if noise is an issue. So another difference is how these blenders turn on. So there is no power button here. There's just a start and stop switch. You can see that the body design of the E310 and E320, which is a newer series, is a little bit more updated. They look the same. They've all got a 10-speed variable dial, and they all have a pulse switch. Now the 5300 has a little bit of an older body design. Keep in mind this is a Vitamix C series blender, which is part of their legacy series. It's a classic series. So it has a little bit of an older design in the face. A little bit smaller of a variable speed dial, but again, they all have a 10-speed variable dial and a pulse switch. So there's not a lot of bells and whistles, there's no automatic settings, things like that, but they can do everything. So I just want to show you how these turn on. 5300 does have an on-off switch here, and then you're going to turn it on here. So I do want to show you guys the sound. So we're going to turn this one on. Keep in mind this is the quietest one on the lowest level, level 1. So we're going to go up to 10. Okay, so now we're going to show you the E320. Same thing, turn on here. Hear how it's a little bit louder. Of course, there's no ingredients in here yet. And we're going to do the wrong one here. Definitely all loud, right? But the E310 was the quietest in terms of, the lowest setting. This one was actually a little bit quieter on the high setting. So some of the other things I do want to point out, the E310 only comes in black currently. The E320 comes in black and red, and the 5300 comes in black and red. I think that's pretty much all that we have in terms of the similarities and differences. And so next we are going to make a highly fibrous green juice. We're going to be using Dr. Oz's green juice recipe because it has tons of fibrous fruits and vegetables like carrots and apples and kale. And I'm going to be bringing in 2 guests with me that are going to help do this little blend off. And we're going to talk a little bit more about these blenders. Hi guys, so I want to introduce you to our Blender Babes community members that are going to be helping me with this little blend off, our Vitamix blend off here. So I have Pyung and Diane. So Pyung, when I met him, he was telling me all about his food allergies, of which he has many.
So blending has been a great way for me to control my diet and get a really robust dose of micronutrients. Such an easy way to consume a lot of it.
So he ended up getting a Vitamix. So which one did you get?
Yes, I have a Vitamix A3500. It's the top of the line, all the bells and whistles. I love it, and I use it pretty much every day.
And Diane, I know we talked about your family has diabetes, so you wanted to avoid getting diabetes. You have a vegan diet now because of that, and you did a lot of research before you decided to finally get a Vitamix. So which one did you get?
I got the standard with programs.
Ooh.
And I love it. I was lusting after a Vitamix for years, and I didn't think that I could afford it. And finally learned that I could buy one with the payment plan, which
Awesome.
really was beneficial for me because I could budget it in. And I love it, and I blend every day.
So the one that she has is the one with the taller 64-ounce jar. It comes certified reconditioned only now, and it has 3 pre-programmable settings, which, a lot of people really like the automatic settings. Just keep in mind all of these ones are just your standard variable speed dial, which you have on your blenders, so you guys know how it works. There's just not that smoothie button, so that's fine. So we're going to be making a green juice, a whole food green juice recipe. Now only really good power blenders can make a whole food green juice. Some blenders can obviously make green smoothies, which are very popular, but one of the things that that we use in the blender cleanse, which you did with us this year, our 7-day blender cleanse, learn more about it at blenderbabes.com, is we use whole food green juices for the juicing portion to help detox and cleanse our bodies. So what I love about these blenders is they can make this kind of juice that has like a texture of an extracted juice, but it has all the fiber. You keep all the nutrition that's in the skin and the seeds, and it's just really, really good for you. So, all right, so we're gonna get started. We're gonna do this little blend off. Keep in mind, we're gonna be blending for 90 seconds, which is the minimum amount of time required to make a whole food green juice, or any kind of whole food juice. And you also need a minimum of 1.5 cups of liquid. So, and it has to be water. So you can't make a whole food juice with a milk substitute or milk. So we're actually using 2 cups of water here. We're gonna be stacking the things soft to hard, which is what you wanna do in any kind of blender really. So spinach in here, kale, we've got parsley, lots of really cleansing ingredients, tons of phytonutrients, cucumber, so very hydrating. We've got lemon and lime to add a little bit of citrus for not only flavor but for cleansing as well. Very fibrous ingredients. Carrots, apple, you know, typically like most like regular blenders or low wattage blenders, you're gonna have a really gritty smoothie if you blend this kind of stuff. So a good power blender is gonna turn that into silky smooth. And we're gonna add the ice. Okay, so, and 1, 2, 3. All right, so that was a full 90 seconds. The first thing we're gonna do is just a really quick taste test so we can kind of see how it turned out. I think it's good. Yeah, it doesn't have any like grit.
Yeah, very smooth.
This is a 20 grade sieve, so it's gonna catch any tiny little particle that's left. All right. So what you're gonna wanna do is just kind of help it along. With these power blenders, if you run it longer, then it's gonna get finer. So I usually run it for a minimum of 90 seconds, up to about 2 minutes. You just wanna make sure to add ice, lots of ice, because these blenders are so powerful, they will start to heat the produce or heat the ingredients that are in there. So, you know, ice and frozen fruit is good. So we're gonna show you guys what this looks like. So as you can see, hopefully, they're pretty much the same. So basically, they blend the same. So it doesn't really matter which Vitamix model that you get. What's really important for you guys to help decide which is the best Vitamix for you and you know which Vitamix you should buy is based on what features you want. So do you want automatic settings? Do you want touchscreen? And the design that you like, you know, as well as the types of jars that you need. And of course, ultimately, I think budget. But keep in mind that these blenders do last for, you know, 15, I've heard of it lasting 20, 25 years. So it's an investment up front, and you can also do a payment plan option, which can help quite a bit. So there's definitely a very good reason to decide on getting a Vitamix, and really the Blender Babes are here to help you decide which Vitamix to buy and which one is best for you and your family and your personal needs. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this video and getting to know my Blender Babes community members. I love my tribe. Please join our tribe, subscribe. We send all kinds of great blending tips and healthy blender recipes and ways and programs to just help you live a healthier lifestyle. Again, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Be sure to subscribe. I hope you guys have a beautiful day. Happy blending.
Happy blending.
Happy blending.